up here in the Loft and get your head right.
Ha what's up, head right homies? Welcome to the Loft, your head right. Hang on, man, did y'all hear that sniffle? I was like, right? Man, something trying to get in the Zoe, man. I ain't having it. I got my tea ready, man. I'm doing my jumping jacks and my stretches and stuff like that. You ain't getting me. All right, it's too early on the week for that. And I don't want to happen later on the week too. You hear that, man? That sounds rude, right? It's like that, something that like bubble in my throat or something like that. That's gross. All right, y'all, chicken soup. Aww. So, Meatloaf Monday, man. We're gonna get into the meaty stuff. I don't know how it's probably, you know, for y'all that are on the carnivore political diet, right? For you red meat politics people. That want to get in here and get your keto on, get you into some ketosis, so you can have that karate body for your political delights and all that sort of stuff. I don't know how deep we're gonna get into that, but you know, humor me. All right, y'all. So let's see. What are we gonna talk about today? Let's talk a little bit about just a little bit of perspective. I caught up a movie that was written by some of those, you know, Hollywood conservatives. I don't know, it came out maybe in 2017 or something like that. I don't even remember what the movie was called. Something about, it was like a spoof on, the Extendables. The Extendables, that's what it was. Not the Expendables, but the Extendables. And then let's talk about Joe Biden pardoning son Hunter Biden in gun and tax cases and any federal crimes from 2014 through 2024. All right. And then we got Trump guitars, y'all. Can you dig it? I should have my.
Yeah.
Why would I not have, you know, my Les Paul handy, you know, studio, Les Paul studio. Right? It means it's basically Les Paul studio is a decent guitar that's affordable, right? Let's see. And mine, I don't know, mine is like some sort of weird hybrid. I bought it, you know, the way that it is. It doesn't seem to have like the stock humbuckers that came with it. I didn't get it used, it came brand new, but it's got like the soap bar humbuckers in it. And that's I don't think that's what comes with the Les Paul Studio. I could be wrong. I'm more of a drummer than I am a guitar player, but you know, I still like the way it plays. Let's see, and then we have Peanut the Squirrel. The owners are going to sue New York State over execution of their beloved pets. More power to you. Do it. Let's see. Thomas Massie says Trump nominees should be disqualified, and here's why. I think you know. And owner of Twinkies. Man, Twinkies sound good right about now. I can't do it, though. Twinkies, it's evil. Evil Twinkie. Let's see. Owner of Twinkie issued message directed at Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s. All right. Let's see. How you gonna have a serious bit of discourse over a Twinkie?
Right.
Yeah, that's our world today, y'all. Okay, so now, as I was saying earlier, man, you know, for our date nights, you know, we like to go and, you know, just, you know, watch some, you know, chill, you know, have some grub, man, and you know, and watch a movie or something like that, you know, and you know, it's our little slumber party, if you will, and one of the things I have a hard time finding, man, is just decent movies that are like, you know, like PG-13, man. We don't watch no. We don't watch movies, man, that have a whole bunch of, like, you know, cussing in it and violence and stuff like that. We don't mind violence. But, you know, the really stumbling block stuff is like movies with a whole bunch of cussing in it or nudity, you know, sex scenes and stuff like that. So it ain't easy to find because a lot of, you know, the new ratings on the movie is all like, you know, like TV MA or TV mature and all that sort of. Even if it says TV 14, it might be some, like, you know, some nudity or something like that. It's like, come on, man. Of course, heck, PG movies from the 70s, man, had nudity in them. But, you know, just trying to, you know, we just don't like, that's stuff we just don't invite into our household, you know what I'm saying? And so, when people talk about like conservative Hollywood, which I've said, there really isn't a conservative Hollywood. Just because a person thinks differently from liberals or don't even like the way that liberals think doesn't exactly make them conservative, okay? Hitler didn't like communism. That didn't make him a capitalist, all right? You know, so, you got a lot of these people, they can say something, if it's contrary to liberalism, all of a sudden they get the conservative card and they're seen as conservatives. It's like, no, that's not true. It's like I've said before, it's like just because, a person can think that the opposite of war is peace. Opposite of war isn't peace. Opposite of war is often slavery. Okay? And the opposite thinking of liberalism or contrary thought to liberalism doesn't make it conservative. And but Hollywood, not Hollywood, but you have people who lean to the right, whether it's right, leaning media and stuff like that, have this idea that there's this like conservative Hollywood, and there really isn't. You may have people that they're more, libertarian. Libertarian is pretty much a liberal that hates taxes, really. And just basically assumes that we should be free to do whatever we want as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. But who decides whether it hurts somebody else or not? Who makes that determination? Now small little libertarians, I get it and stuff like that. But when you have but that's not what we're talking about. That we're talking about more like libertarian or socially liberal, fiscally conservative, and that in itself is also another joke because that cancels itself out. But when you have people in the industry, when you look at it, y'all, really, what have they done? All these conservatives supposedly in Hollywood, what have they really done? Not much, right? Not much at all. And then I saw, all that to say, y'all, I saw this movie. They've probably done a lot in some liberals' production, but they weren't representing as conservatives and whatnot. But I saw this movie, man, and it had, some of your well-known, outed conservative actors that were in there. The movie was called Extendables. The Extendables. I think it was PG-13, rated PG-13. But right out, it wasn't even like, maybe like 5-10 minutes into the movie, they're trying to get away with showing as much boobage as possible, right? You can see boob, you can see nipple, and they put a baby on it, right? Wow. Or when you got like the lead actor who's like looking down this woman's shirt, and then all of a sudden he starts fantasizing. And you see him like laying, he's like spread out, like fantasizing about this woman's boobs, and you see him laying on this giant, boob, right? So they superimpose on it, and you can see the nipple and all that sort of stuff, and it's like, wow, man. So there really isn't much difference, and not only that, man, the movie was just horrible. I didn't finish. I watched. Like I said, when they started showing that, I was like, dude, what's the difference? There's no distinction, man. No distinction. And this is a movie that some other liberal could have made. You know what I mean? So it's just disappointing, man. And that's why I say, a lot of these conservatives, if they get a budget, and they can't get a budget, man, because their movie ideas are often crap. And then when they do make a movie, it's like, this is what you want to do with it? This is what you do? There's no distinction between us and liberals who would exploit women the same way. Really? So, and that's why, y'all, I'm hoping, man, I pray for your support, man, for bronzeserpentmedia.com that we're, distinct. We're distinguished as far as stuff like that goes. But we don't have to resort to stuff like that to make our movies, interesting. It's like, man, this is what you had to go to in the hopes that people watch your movie. Or maybe you didn't even think a whole bunch of people would watch your movie. You just want an opportunity to see, to exploit some women. Or whichever. And it's just sad, man. It's hypocritical. We're supposed to be the party of standards and values, but this is what they do. So anyway, y'all, I know that's kind of like going wee-wee in the punch bowl and stuff like that, but I had to bring it up, man. We're supposed to be different. Like I said, I hope people support bronzeserpentmedia.com, because we're not going to do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? We don't have to. Then we got okay. Let's get into some meat, right? Meatloaf. Joe Biden pardoned son Hunter Biden in gun and tax case. I would say, like, before, as the pardon came up, I was like, man, Trump needs to jump on this and be like, hey, Hunter, check it out, man. Because I think Trump was talking about pardoning Hunter Biden, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, Look, Trump, if you're going to do that, if you're going to pardon Hunter Biden, you should have him state, say, look, these policies, these gun control policies are stupid. And these tax policies that are imposed on us are stupid, right? Just have them say that, and be like, okay, you got your pardon. Because this is what the statists want us to have to abide by. Now, with Biden going ahead and getting in there, so Biden is going to have Hunter pardoned. He's pardoned. And what's the thrust of this? What's the big deal? Is that he lied. Okay, you got federal documents. You put false statements on there. You are doing drugs. We got video of you doing drugs and stuff like that. And you're going to put a false statement on this document, which, you can't be doing. And now here's the thing. The way that it's worded is I think is wrong. No, the whole form is wrong in the first place. Okay, that's really not their business. Okay, but as opposed to asking, have you done drugs or do you do drugs, it should be more like, have you been convicted, of possession or selling or whatnot. That would be a more fair question to ask. If I were selling guns, that would be a determining factor for me. If you've been convicted of this, then at my discretion, I probably wouldn't sell you a gun. Okay, but as it is, this is a federal document, and here's the thing. Do I think that Hunter should be arrested for that? Because it's like, are we in a contradiction here? Right? So as conservatives, we're supposed to be like, well, really, Hunter shouldn't have been arrested for that.
Yeah.
Okay? He shouldn't have had to fill out this form in the first place. But I offer you this. Hell yeah, he should have been arrested. Yes. Right? You know why? Because he needs to answer to the policies that they want us to live by. Mm-hmm. That's why. You need a taste of your own poison, man. You want us to live by this? You first. That's why. Okay? Do I agree that these documents need to exist? Yes. I mean, no, I don't. I don't think they should exist. Okay? The government doesn't have any business as far as that goes. In terms of like having us incriminate ourselves and whatnot. That responsibility really should be to the gun owner, the seller, right? So if he's got this inventory of gun, which is his property, he has the right to put in a criteria of who he's going to sell to. If he wants to have a questionnaire concerning his guns, he absolutely has the right to do that. You have to balance that, right? Sure, the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's true. The government can't, meaning that if you have the right to keep and bear arms, that means you have the right to keep them. The government can't come and confiscate them. Okay, and if they do come to confiscate them, you have the right to bear your arms against them. It's like you have the right. And the weird thing is a government that would come and do that, they're not going to recognize your right to defend yourself and your firearms, and you will either be killed or you will be put in jail. Which I guess is the reason why we have the guns first place, to prevent that from happening. But they're not going to see it as you exercising your rights. They're going to see it as you you're basically going to see you as a terrorist. All right, is how that's going to work. It's a weird kind of caveat that how that works. But the right to keep and bear arms, that right has to be balanced by the person who actually is. I've got an inventory of firearms. This is my right. I have the right to keep these. Mm-hmm. Right? As the gun owner, with an inventory of guns to potentially sell, I have the right to keep these, and you do not have the right to make me sell them to you, because I have the right to keep and bear arms. You see what I'm saying? That has to be balanced by that. Now, some people are just so far out there that no matter what, you shouldn't ask them any questions. If I want to buy a gun, you're just going to sell me a gun. It's like, no, dude, you do not understand the balance of liberty.
Yeah. There's
a balance to it. All right? If I want to have you fill out a questionnaire, that is my prerogative with my property. All right? And so that being said, with Hunter Biden, that's why I'm saying, yeah, absolutely, he should have been busted for this, because he needs to abide by the policies that they want us to live under. Okay, and this should go to show this is a testimony from Joe Biden himself. We need to use that as an endorsement to say, you see, these policies are stupid. They're too stupid for you. They're too stupid for your own kid, who can't even uphold your policies. What do you say we get rid of these things, Joe? All right, what do you say we get rid of that? And then as far as the taxes goes, same flipping thing, same thing. So. But should Biden be arrested for that? Yes, he should, because you need to live by the laws that you want to impose on us. And this right here, it is an endorsement of saying, yeah, having to pay these unconstitutional taxes are wrong. I think Biden and Hunter really don't like these. Well, they don't like this stuff for them.
Yeah.
They want it on everybody else.
Yep.
Right. And then, so check this out. Now, help me out, folks. And of course, with everything, you know, and I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about it. And but really quick, let me do some what do they call that? Housekeeping or whichever. Hey, on Instagram, and thank you guys for joining on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining on bronzeserpentmedia.com. If you're on YouTube and you want to subscribe and stuff like that, by all means do so. You're probably not going to get the notifications. That's why it's better to come to bronzeserpentmedia.com. And if you join us on Instagram, like Johnny Wayne Lacalis, am I saying that right? Lancaster, sorry about that. Micah 3 Toy, Bryant Mann, Brian Hughes, PWF. Let me see, and Travis, and what does Brian say? He says, Hunter is, in essence, a super citizen who the law has no hold upon. I'll do you one better, Brian. This is what's called white privilege. Some heads just exploded, right? Conservatives can't stand that. They can't stand it, and that's why they keep losing. White privilege is a real thing brought to you by the Democrat Party. It's been a real thing that the Democrats have been instituting since the 1800s, ever since they established the Confederacy. Okay, that's a real thing. And conservatives need to stop being in denial about it, because that's why y'all have such a hard time in the culture. And you keep giving the Democrats a pass for all the evils that they've done. White supremacy, systemic racism, and white privilege is real. Brought to you by the Democrat parties. Someday the Republicans will get it. They'll understand. At some point, the Republicans will remember why they were founded. The Republican Party was founded to stop white privilege. That's the roots of the Republican Party.
Yep.
That's why it was founded, to stop white privilege, to stop white supremacy, to stop systemic racism. That's why it was founded. But a lot of Republicans, they don't get that, right? So, at any rate, thank you guys so much for joining us on Instagram. And we were looking at, okay, so now I wanted to ask, help me out, y'all. Dang, for a second, I think I forgot what is it I needed help with? I need help with a lot of things. But let me get back. Where's the article at? Where did my article go?
It's the Gateway Pundit.
Is it Gateway Pundit? Come on back here, article. Why are you hiding from me? Making me look like more foolish than I already look. Okay, so help me out with this. From 2014 to 2024, he's going to get like this blanket, this absolved blanket for potential. Now, I get it, y'all. I understand why the pardon would be given. Okay, I get it. Now, help me out. If a pardon means that you have been convicted, right? It's like an admission of guilt. You're guilty of this. Okay, so for the so-called gun charge and for the so-called tax evasion, this is something that he's going to be pardoned for, and then he's going to be pardoned for the potential crimes that he would commit, like whether it's concerning Ukraine and concerning these other charges. They're potential charges. Now, I get why they're doing. It's like, we're going to pardon him now, admission of guilt for that, and so they can't. It's basically you can't try him again for this stuff. No double jeopardy, right? For the gun issue and for the tax issue. But they're going to pardon him for something that he hasn't been convicted for that I know of. He hasn't been convicted of these things. There's nothing to really pardon him for, but they're going to give him this forecast of a pardon that's going to give him immunity for pursuing prosecution as far as this goes. And how? Well, white privilege, one, but well, we're talking Democrats here, and we're talking white privilege, but that's not how that works, is it? Help me out, folks. That's not how it works. He hasn't been convicted of these. There hasn't been due process concerning those things. You can't just give him a pardon for something that he didn't go through due process for and then say that you can't come after him for this because it's already a done deal. They can't. Really, legally, they can't do that, right? I'd really like to hear your thoughts. I'm just asking.
Yeah, this article says the pardon absolves Hunter of any possible drug involvement, sex trafficking, lobbying, bribery, foreign agent, or other crimes involving Ukraine. And
now, if I could say really quick, I'm sorry. All that is an admission of what he's done.
Yes.
All that whole list right there is so they're talking about Biden shouldn't be made to incriminate himself, and this whole thing is BS because he was made to incriminate himself.
Yeah.
On
that federal gun form.
Dude, you just incriminated for everything that you know that he can go to jail for. You just spelled it all out for us. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you short, but I think we get the point.
Yeah.
Right? Y'all just made the admission for us, and then from here, now. But this doesn't immune him for if he's got to testify. Like if Biden is brought up on charges, Joe is brought up on charges and stuff like that. Hunter Biden doesn't have immunity from that. He still has to be made to testify.
It looks like it, yeah.
Right? So concerning all these things. So maybe what needs to happen, I guess, for Joe Biden, since, Kamala didn't win. But if Biden has been made, I guess he's not at capacity to be president, so Kamala's acting president, then maybe what Kamala needs to do is have Joe Biden arrested, send him through due process for all these charges, and then go ahead and, what's the word I'm looking for? Pardon him. Dang it. Pardon him. Right. And by the way, how can well, that's white privilege, because this will be the second turkey that he pardoned this year. Right. His son, yes. Jive turkey. Right. So Kamala, go ahead and pardon him. And then you can't bring Biden up on these charges anymore.
They should do that.
How about that? Right. Because these people are evil geniuses, and I'm surprised they hadn't thought about doing that. Mm-hmm. Hey, they do everything else. Right. Freaking weather machine. It's like, yeah. Why not? All right. Anyway.
There's a professor who was on, I guess he was interviewed on Fox News. Turley is his name. I forgot his first name. But he says the language of this pardon is virtually unprecedented. I mean, President Nixon's was very, very broad, but we've never seen anything like this. It's literally pardoning his son for any crime that he may have committed during these years. Everything from money laundering to murder.
Yeah, that he may have. Like I said, this is a full-on admission.
Yes,
it's an admission. But like I said, it's like you can't. Let me see. What is Brian? Thank you for weighing in. Brian on Instagram says during the previous, and forgive me, y'all. I don't mean to make it look like I'm only paying attention to one channel. I'm just trying to grow my Instagram game, and I'm aware of y'all on YouTube and on my website. Thank you guys so much, because y'all always have great comments and great questions. Let me see. During the previous trial, his lawyers tried to give him immunity as his punishment. He would have gotten it if the judge hadn't been scrutinized. Interesting. He would have. Do you remember that?
Repeat it.
The statement is during the previous trial, his lawyers tried to give him immunity. Okay, as his punishment. Tried to give him immunity as his punishment. He would have gotten it if the judge hadn't been scrutinized. Well, looks like he got immunity anyway.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell.
But Steve points out he is in our website chat. He says Hunter cannot plead the fifth now.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't plead the fifth now.
He says Democrats lie like their father Satan.
Yeah, that's right. They are their father. And yeah, basically, Biden had maxed out his no incrimination card.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like I said, all the stuff that you're trying to blanket right now and give him this blanket immunity from further prosecution, that in itself is incrimination. And y'all, for real. Now, if we got this new cabinet that's coming in, and we've got a stocked House and Senate, They should prove their mettle and be like, oh, hell no, man. Y'all can't get away with this. Now, we're pursuing this. Yeah, all those things that y'all just listed off, we coming after him for those. Yeah. This ain't no double jeopardy. This ain't no immunity. You don't get no freaking special privilege as far as this goes. No. We getting them for all that. All of it. So, anyway. What else we got? Man, okay, so this is kind of fun. And like I said, I'm ill prepared because I didn't have. It's like, well, it's like you could do much with that guitar anyway. So check this out. Trump here's some guitars. He's going guitar on us, and he busted out with the series "Make America Great Again," and I guess Trump 45. I think these guitars were probably. I think he meant to put those out like during the term that got stolen from him. Because, the headstock hasn't been improved or updated, or not even updated. It hasn't been stamped in the first place. Amen, Brian. They say, they can't hide it anymore. But they've been used to hiding things in plain sight for a while. But I hear you, man. It's if it's the chickens, the donkeys, if you will, need to come home are coming home to roost. No, well, that would be them. Hopefully, at some point, the chickens will come home to roost on this. But Trump has got some guitars out there. That's cool, because here's the thing, man. A lot of people are going to be talking about that. You have a lot of guitar, whether they're, do guitar tutorials, guitar playing influencers and stuff like that. They're pretty much all going to be talking about this. Okay. And I think it's one of those things where the guitar influencers, they should take a note from this, because I watched to see what they had to say about it, and pretty much all of them preface it with basically walking on eggshells. All right, yeah. They're coming inside. Now, I just want to say I'm not either for or against Trump, and I don't get into politics. It's like you're totally afraid of your audience. You're petrified of them, because you're petrified of these psychos with Trump derangement syndrome. Okay, so it's like, that should speak volumes to you, that you have to come on and tread so lightly that you just want to talk about guitars, but it has something to do with Trump. And now you have to get on there and just make this disclaimer and just mind your P and Qs on how you're going to talk about this. Right? And don't get me wrong, because I know that you can probably get, if you say something about Trump, you'll get you're going to get some heat about those who want to defend Trump. But it ain't nothing compared of you saying something pro-Trump and then them psycho leftists coming there with their demon possessed behind, coming there and coming to attack you and look to cancel you. Right? You know that your channel can get shut down. Yeah. Right? Your channel ain't gonna get shut down by you dissing Trump, okay? And you're really not going to get that much hate from the Trump supporters anyway, okay? We may correct you on some things, all right? We'll correct you on some things, but we're not going to come in there and be anything close to your liberal audience, all right? Like I said, who will get your channel shut down, all right? So Trump came out with a series of guitars, which is smart, y'all, right? It's smart. He understands. I've said this. I think Trump and a lot of his, because they're very clumsy and self-sabotaging culturally. This is one of those things where Trump is like, okay, yeah, this was a little bit more finesse, right? Very bold, and this isn't like necessarily something that would come back to bite him in the butt. Except, and like I said, he's going to get influencers talking about him. Influencers are looking at him differently already, right? You got some influencers out there, they maintain their, like they, to satisfy their audience, they don't really like Trump and all that sort of stuff. But, it'll work in his favor, overall. The issue is, though, where it could have been a smart cultural move, legally, it kind of wasn't. They've got this guitar that has a Les Paul body shape. And when Trump contracted, or not maybe contracted, he's endorsed it. I don't know if it was his idea or anything like that. Somebody may have approached him with the idea. I think the company's called 16 Creative. So I think it's more of a marketing firm who they contracted a master luthier to go ahead and design a guitar and stuff like that. But you would think that this person would know better than to give a Les Paul copy. Why would you do that? And so you couldn't come up with another, or not only come up with another kind of design. Maybe Gibson probably wouldn't have given you permission. I think Gibson would be going out and suing people. And forgive my ignorance, y'all, because I'm like thinking I didn't know Gibson was sue happy. But then again, I didn't know that people would have. I didn't know that there were guitar companies out there that were copying their bodies just out of doing it. Like I have an ESP, a line of LTD guitars, which has a Les Paul body, and I'm thinking that they make agreements or they lease the trademark or something like that to go ahead and have the permission to go ahead and make and sell these series of guitars with these bodies. ESP or LTD, they have the Ibanez house but if Gibson is sue happy, the only guitar companies that I know of that have guitars with Les Paul bodies are ESP and Ibanez. Okay, and I would think that they asked. I don't know if they did. But in this case, we're talking about Trump's guitar. It's like, man, you gonna have guitars made that copy a Les Paul body? And you didn't ask them? Man, okay, why would you do that? And then, so after they get the cease and desist order from Gibson, which I guess maybe not be as sue happy as people claim, because they didn't go after them to go sue them. What's up, O'Connor? I see you stepping in, man. Thanks for dropping in. Gibson didn't respond to them, heated. It's basically a cease and desist. It almost makes me think that Trump may have got together with Gibson and say, hey man, as a publicity stunt, we're gonna do a guitar. Because surely, it's like that would be really arrogant and stupid. If we're gonna go ahead and make a guitar and we're gonna copy this iconic guitar body and we're gonna claim it for ourselves. We're not going to ask for permission, and if they call us out for it, we're just going to say, we're not affiliated with Gibson. It doesn't matter if you're not affiliated with Gibson. Even more so, if you're not affiliated with Gibson, then you really have no business just going and copying, this iconic guitar body. So as it is, maybe they figured, what do you guys think, y'all? Maybe they figured, well, that's going to give the guitar more value. We know that they're going to give a cease and desist order. We've already made some, and we'll sell those off, and we'll probably sell as many as we were hoping to before we get a cease and desist order. Okay, and maybe that's just the way it is. And then I see people talking about, the haters. How dare they sell a guitar for $1,100 or I'm sorry, $11,000. I think if you want a guitar, if you want one of those with Trump's autograph on it, it's gonna set you back about $11,000. So what? Like Gibson themselves don't have like $20,000+ guitar, $50,000. Right? They got guitars that are worth tens of thousands of dollars that they sell. Now, granted, it is Gibson, right? If they custom make a series of guitars for a certain demographic, and somebody has the resources to go ahead and buy it, if they want to cater to that market, that's their prerogative. So what? That's their prerogative. Okay. So if Trump is going to make these guitars and sell them with his autograph on it, that's far cheaper than a lot of Gibson guitars, that they have selling like that. And now the other issue that I have, y'all, if this is supposed to be Make America Great Again, what's up, Brian Country Club? I see you, man. If this is Make America Great Again, why are these parts for these guitars coming from all these different countries? It's like there's like an international campaign to make these guitars, and international probably most likely means China. It's probably where these guitars. I don't know. It's not really clear where the guitars come from, but it's not all made in America. Yeah. Which is supposed to be like the promotion of making America great again. Wouldn't you think that this guitar would be like, we're gonna bring jobs back to America again? We're gonna have America made again. If you're gonna have a guitar, but I get it though, man. Hey, what better way to stick it in the eye of a lot of these left-wing musicians? Like, you guys want to be a bunch of globalists? What do you care if this guitar is made with a whole bunch of parts from all over the globe? So what? So what? You know, this is what you like. You like globalists. You like the whole global institution having their hand in it. All right. So whatever. But so he's got, and also the pictures are inconsistent with these guitars. You have a guitar that's pretty blatantly a Les Paul body, and it's a bolted on neck. You know, I think with like, say for instance, with my Gibson, an actual Les Paul, and I've got a ESP copy of a Les Paul. Both of them are one piece, right? They'll bolt on necks. These have bolt on neck, right? And you know, when you look at the picture, like I said, you got a blatant Les Paul body, but then there's another. It's like there's another version of it that they came back, and the pictures that had the bolt on neck, they don't have those pictures anymore. But now the guitar it's been modified to where it kind of looks like a Les Paul body, but maybe just a little bit of Telecaster thrown in there. Right, so as opposed to having like that crest that kind of like meets the neck like this, in this kind of rounded shape, it's kind of brought back a little bit, you know, to give it a little bit of a taste of Telecaster in there. I don't know. So if you pre-ordered one, I'm not really sure what you're gonna get. I don't know what you're gonna get, but I reckon that its value is going to increase because since it's a cease and desist, it's going to be a rarity now. And you know, who knows, 10 or 20 years, something like that. You bought it for $1,100. It might be worth, you know, $10,000, you know, in a few years, or whichever. What do you guys think? Why would, you know, they go ahead and go after, you know, we're just going to go ahead and copy the Les Paul body and just make some guitars out of it.
Yeah. Hardwell Entertainment just joined us. He says, hey, so I dropped in and we're talking about copycat guitars. Mm-hmm. And he also brings up tariffs.
Yes, we're going to be getting to them tariffs. I'm probably going to get in trouble over tariffs, but, you know, I'm still your favorite dilettante, though, right? Hey, so, but yeah, that's what I'm looking at with these guitars. And I haven't seen anybody ask that. That's the thing I haven't seen people ask in terms of, you know, on what basis did you think that you could get away with just go ahead and making this guitar and thinking that Gibson wouldn't have anything to say about it? You know, how dare you? You know? So at any rate, that's my thoughts on it. But I think it's, at the same time, culturally, you know, a smart thing to do. And, you know, pretty savvy. It's a very finesseful thing to do. I don't know why they would also tack on this controversy with it, with this complication. But, you know, I'm assuming that these people there's a method to their madness and they're smarter than I am about this sort of stuff. Okay.
Well, they've already sold out of $11,000 guitars. So
yeah, they already sold out of them.
Even if they did get the cease and desist, they've already made a crap ton of money.
Yeah, yeah, they did. I think they did what they set out to do. And the thing, well, that's the thing about it. It definitely is going to have people talking more because it's very curious.
Yeah.
Okay, you already got, you know, people in the music, you know, industry or the music who have music interest, particularly as far as guitar goes. They're talking about it, and I think it adds more to the conversation that you would copy this body. You didn't take it up with Gibson, and Gibson has a cease and desist order after you. But you guys have already sold out of these guitars. That's definitely gonna, you know, spark a lot of conversation and deepen, you know, the cultural connection.
Yeah.
It's like we're no longer talking about Trump as, you know, you're not talking about Trump the Nazi.
Yes.
Now you're talking Trump the guitar guy.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I didn't
you know what I'm saying?
That.
You know, it's an inroad, y'all. It's an inroad. It's like when people talk about, you know, these companies that are doing the whole woke thing, you know, DEI and all that sort of stuff. And we're trying to tell them, dude, go woke, go broke. And that's not the point. You know, go woke, go broke is useless to try to tell them that. It's not about the money. It's about the inroads. Okay, it's about the cultural impact of what they're doing. This is a religion for them. They're willing to make that sacrifice of money, and they're making those inroads, y'all. Okay, and this is the same thing. It's, you know, Trump is like, okay, we're going to make an inroad like this, and he's got a whole demographic of people talking about him and not talking about, because they're trying to avoid it, right? Yeah. We don't want to talk about his policies. We don't want to talk about whether you think he's a bad man or anything like that. We just want to talk guitars. And they're doing the work for him of making this association with Trump, the guitar guy. Not Trump is Hitler, Trump is a Nazi, which he's not anyway. Yes. It's a ridiculous charge. But this is something that's obviously way more tangible. The whole Nazi, Hitler, all that stuff, that's vapor, man. You know it. And even though these people are given over to their imaginations and given over to the sensationalism and stuff like that, this is something more solid. Yeah. Here's Trump, the guitar guy. All right, and now he's got this dialogue with Gibson. That's what he's giving them to talk about. Right, and that's smart. Okay, that's smart. That's good cultural boxing right there.
Yeah. Considering musicians probably don't like Trump, like not some don't like Trump, and they don't like Gibson. Do they both get talked about in a nasty way, like in all the music forums that you've been in? Because you've been paying attention to this story. Do you see that people are like pro-Trump when it comes to this and anti-Gibson, or they don't like either one? Or
the influencers, the commentators, they're trying to keep it very neutral.
Okay.
In the comments section, yeah, they still try to take their digs at Trump and stuff like that. They got to make sure that you know that they don't like Trump, you know.
They're cool.
Right, yeah, and that's what, like I said, that's what the commentators are trying to kind of shield themselves from.
Okay.
You know, they just want to still be able to create, because like I said, they know. You know, if you make it sound like you're just pro-Trump, you know, you can get your channel canceled.
Yeah.
All right, they'll cancel you. But all that to say, but in terms of, no, I don't see anything about people having aversion to Gibson.
Okay.
So it's more so directed at Trump. I think the worst thing that anybody says about Gibson guitars is that Gibson is quick to sue. Basically, like, Gibson is like the Lucas of the guitar world, of the guitar universe, guitar galaxy or whatever. So that's pretty much about the worst thing.
They're too happy.
Yeah, that's the worst thing that they'll say about Gibson. So far that I've seen, it's all reserved for hatred for Donald Trump. And let's talk about these tariffs. I'm all about tariffs. Yeah, put them. I mean, I'm not all about like making like, you know, outlandishly expensive tariffs, but am I about tariffs? Yeah, I'm all about tariffs. This is conducive with the constitutional model. For those that are worried about tariffs and how those are going to increase the cost or cost that's going to be passed on to the consumer, so what? That should be offset by the taxes that we're not supposed to have. All right. So now, I'm okay with, now I don't like tariffs if you're adding on other taxes that we're having to pay that are not conducive with the Constitution. Then I have a problem with tariffs. Okay, but if Trump is going to stick to what he says, man, he's going to go after them income taxes, which is not constitutional. I know the liberals are, well, what about the 16th Amendment? 16th Amendment is antithetical to the Constitution. It wasn't even properly ratified. It's not supposed to be in there. Okay, 16th Amendment is basically giving the license to the government to violate our right to property. Our income is our property. All right, so you can't just come and take it for a redistribution under the guise of good intentions. It doesn't work that way. But a tariff, these duties that are supposed to be paid, yeah, that's constitutional. All right. Now, I don't mind a tariff, and I understand that cost is going to be passed on to the consumer. I understand that. That's going to be offset by the income taxes that we're not supposed to be paying in the first place. So I'm okay with it. So let me read a little bit of this. Oh man, I don't think I actually have an article. Do I have an article on it?
On what?
On the Trump and the tariffs.
No, we just wanted to discuss it. You understand them a lot better than I do.
Yeah. Now, what do you guys think? I mean, because here's the thing about, when we're talking about a kind of excise and we're talking about, these duty taxes and whatnot, the bottom line with a tax like that is that it's still based in a voluntary exchange. That's the thing about it. Income taxes, or your gains or your property taxes, that is something that, the government's just going to come in and take and make you pay in perpetuity, like when we're talking about these things.
You don't
Government
really own your home.
Yeah, exactly. Those taxes that's not supposed to be levied against us. Not supposed to institute taxes like those. Like I said, violation of our right to property. However, when you go and you make a purchase of something, of course we have to buy things. But you still, the choice of what you're going to buy, where you're going to buy it, and all that sort of stuff, and the infrastructure to be able to make transactions without getting raided, or whatnot. There has to be an agency put in place, that you don't get robbed, or there's recourse against a company. That you going to rip off a company or a company ripping you off or all that sort of stuff, or these protective measures or these preventative deterrents in place. This is where the government is supposed to do their job. The government is supposed to protect our rights. Okay, that's what they're supposed to do, and that costs money. All right, and if we want to be able to have these exchanges with other people and transactions or whatnot, and have our trades with people, well, those things do have to be monitored to a degree, and there has to be a budget for that. That's where those duty taxes and stuff like that, that's why those are fair. Okay, so when you make this voluntary transaction, and you're passing your money to somebody else, there's that neutral territory where it's no longer yours and it's not quite theirs yet. That's where the government gets their cut. We are the ones who guard that bridge between you and the other party who is going to collect that money.
And that's fair.
That's fair, right? Not what is it, a fair tax, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's how it's supposed to be. So if you got another country, if you got importers here who want to receive goods from another country and stuff like that, well, once again, you're going to be making purchases. And of course, you're going to have the agencies of customs and all that sort of stuff and guarding our ports and whatnot. Those things have to be paid for. Well, this is how you would pay for them. You're going to have this tariff and things like that. And those facilitate us having a force that is able to deter, crimes. And protection against your goods. And those things they're gonna balance out about how each party from each country is going to weigh that into the cost of how they're doing things. Okay, and how that's going to be passed on to the consumer and whatnot. Now, for other countries that are communist or socialist or anything like that, it's going to suck for them. But for us, if we're not having to pay an income tax, and like I said, God willing, this will go through. And you get rid of these other unconstitutional taxes, then we'll be fine, right? Tariff ain't gonna be no big deal. And the thing is, we're not supposed to have all these BS departments that the government is supposed to say that makes the excuses of why they need to tax us to pay for all these departments. And it's other stuff that they're doing that they're really not supposed to be doing. Departments that we're not supposed to have. Government jobs and whichever that we're really not supposed to have. Not supposed to pay for all that sort of stuff. We're not supposed to have these things. Okay, so don't tell me that, well, we have to have income taxes because how do you think this is going to get paid for? It ain't supposed to be there anyway. Right? So I'm okay. I'm okay with tariffs.
Yeah. This isn't so much tariffs, but it's regarding the Trump guitars. Watching Trains Go By says, yeah, but if he's ripping off a company and infringing on copyright or intellectual property, that's not something to admire. Isn't that exactly the kind of stuff we're supposed to be fighting? And like him or not, his politics aside, I can't respect anyone doing that, even to appeal to a new demographic. I'm not sure I want to appeal to that kind of demographic personally.
I agree.
Yeah.
I do. That's why I made sure to preface this by saying, I don't think it was. It's like I get what you're doing. Aside from this, I don't. It's like I don't get this. Why would you do that?
Yeah, we are questioning the company.
I kicked that dead horse and saying, dude, why would you copy this iconic? And even if it wasn't iconic, it doesn't matter whose it was.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna copy this, and then it's like.
And then make lots of money off of it.
Right. And you're right. And considering who it would appeal to, it's like, and this is one of those things where it's like, is it the ends that justify the means in this sense? Because like I said, I guess the silver lining is that now you've got this culture that is seeing Trump as more of the guitar guy now, rather than, but to do it in this fashion. I mean, really, what would it have taken? Well, okay, how about this? Let's put it like this. What would it have done if I can entertain a little bit of conspiracy theory? I mean, I don't like conspiracy theory, but let's try it. Let's try it a little, right? Don't go down that rabbit hole, so don't go. You won't come back. No. Let's say that Trump did meet with Gibson, right? Let's say he met with him and says, "Look, man, we're going to do this like this. We want to make a guitar, and we want to use your body style. Okay, but we're gonna just do it, and we want y'all to come out and give us a cease and desist." Why? Why would they do that? Because Trump probably doesn't want Gibson. Trump knows that if Gibson made a guitar for him, Gibson would pay.
That's true, yeah.
Okay, the liberals would they would look to have Gibson canceled. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? That's probably why. They probably already had a meeting, y'all. It would look. I get it. Trump has got a lot of bravado and stuff like that. He's got a lot of audacity, but this would be beyond audacity. It would just be straight up arrogance. Okay, it would be arrogant, and it would be. It would be so tacky. I agree with you, man. It would be a tacky thing to do. Okay, and a tacky way to connect with a demographic. And if that's what you got to do to reach this demographic, I agree with you. It's like, do we really want them kind of people I'm not trying to be stuck up toward these people, but they're very stuck up to us as it is. Yes. Way more than we would be. So how about, I'm just saying, what if I give them the benefit of the doubt of saying they already had their meeting? We want permission to use this guitar, but we don't want to make it look like you gave us permission, because if you did that, if it came out that you gave us permission, it would affect you. And Gibson's probably said, look, let's work out a way that we can do this. And because Gibson might be collecting royalties on this. Trump is like, look, man, for proceeds from what comes from this guitar, we'll make sure that it goes to you, and we'll just do it like a flipping sub rosa leasing of the trademark of the body. You know what I'm saying? So then maybe that's kind of how they're doing that, just to protect Gibson. They want to use this body style, but they want to protect Gibson, or Gibson's trying to cover their butt at the same time. What do you guys think? Is that possible? Right? Is that plausible? I'm not saying that's what happened. Or if whether you agree with it or not, but is that possible? Does that make sense? I'd like to know. What do you guys think?
Before you move on, Hoka Hay says, "Hey Zoe, have you ever played one of those McPherson acoustic guitars, made in America, Sparta, Wisconsin?"
What's the guitar called again?
McPherson acoustic.
McPherson acoustic. Oh man, that sounds right. Well, I definitely haven't played one.
Now.
Huh?
Maybe you should check it out. Made in America.
Made in America. I like it. Okay, McPherson. I know that I haven't seen one locally, but maybe it's one of those that they still. I don't know if have they made their way into guitar stores, or are they just online? You got to order.
Good question, Hoka Hay. Have they made their way into guitar stores? Like what is it that you go to?
Guitar Center. Well, we don't have a Guitar Center out here.
Yeah, not out here.
But
your local music stores.
Yeah. Yeah, but McPherson, I'll check them out. Let me see. Right. Yeah, I hear you, Brian, over here on Instagram. Yeah. What was it? Sorry, man, because I'm already derailing. What was I getting ready to say? Were you paying attention?
I was paying attention to the chat.
Aren't I like more appealing
Yes.
with my Adonis like whatever?
Yes.
Speaking of let me see. We got Peanut the Squirrel. Speaking of like state overreach and all that sort of stuff. Peanut the Squirrel. Y'all remember him? The owner is gonna sue New York State over the execution of their beloved pets. Yeah, do it. More power to you. But okay, let's read a little bit of how this is going. The couple who own, this is coming from Trending Politics. The couple who own Peanut the Squirrel and Fred the Raccoon, man, this should be a cartoon made out. This is memorialize them with a cartoon. Let's see. Both of them who were euthanized by New York State officials after a resident complained about unlicensed pets are suing New York State, Chemung County, and related agencies. The case sparked national conversations over the reach of bureaucracy and government overreach. Peanut the Squirrel, a 7-year-old gray rescue squirrel whose exploits have gone viral on social media, was euthanized after the pet was seized by New York State officials in a raid earlier this month. Peanut, along with Fred the Raccoon, was seized when a large group of officials searched owner Mark Longo's property for more than 5 hours. Large group of officials. It was the same people that came after Trump, that came to, anyway. Okay. Now, I'm trying to word this carefully, y'all. Okay, so unlicensed pets. I don't know how they could get them licensed. Is it illegal? Do you guys know if it's illegal to have pets like squirrels and raccoons in New York?
It must be, since the neighbor called the authorities.
Must be illegal.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't even know how they could get a license to have these pets.
Well, yeah, right. That's true.
Unless they're like a wild animal reserve or something like. I mean, I know in some capacity you can have wild animals, right? Yeah.
Perhaps if they had gotten certification, cleared by veterinarians and went to the city and said, "Hey, we rescued this squirrel and this raccoon,"
Well, okay, but they're trying to establish. They're trying to, or they have established.
They're in the middle of establishing
a
rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation. That's okay.
Wild animal rehabilitation center.
And Peanut was kind of like their mascot ambassador,
Yep.
Animal ambassador, right? Okay. And y'all, because I don't want to sound like, hey, that's what you get. That's not what I'm saying. Because you're in New York, all right? You're in New York that is filled with these statists, actual fascists, all right? And these are the same people who claim that they love animals and all that sort of stuff. But you had a squirrel and a raccoon in a state where I don't think. Help me out, y'all. Please, let me know if. And I'm not trying to say that, hey, man, that's what you get. They were going to kill your animals, and they were right to do so because that's the law there. Please, that is not what I'm saying. I'm just asking, didn't you guys know? That you live in a state that's run by psychos.
Yeah.
And in a state where it wouldn't be legal, I'm assuming that it's not legal for y'all to have those animals. I don't even know how you can get a license to have those animals in a state that makes it illegal for you to have them. And so, yeah, no surprise that they would come into your home and they would take your animals and then put them to death. Now I hope that you succeed with your lawsuit. But like if animal control or whichever faction is called on your animals, chances are they're gonna kill your animals.
Yeah.
You know.
Chances are great they are.
Yeah, it's like your animal's already suspect.
Yep.
You know, they're gonna be suspected of. Squirrels carry plague, and raccoons, rabies. Even if it's rare, it's rare instances. So we got a call for to come and pick up some animals, and I think the squirrel bit somebody anyway. Oh no! It has tasted human blood. We're gonna have to put this animal to death.
He bit the authority who grabbed him.
Yeah,
I mean, hello. As you were saying when we were reading the article, a dog or a cat is going to do that.
Yeah.
When some stranger comes in and grabs you.
Right. Yeah. Definitely, a domestic pet is going to try to bite you.
Yeah.
Or it will. So this person is like, I'm going to grab a wild animal and think that it's not. You're not going to get bit. That's kind of dumb. And then you're going to put the squirrel to death for that. But what do you guys think, y'all? Was it too extreme? Of course, I think it was. Forgive me if I don't mean to just solicit my perspective on that for ask you guys and then say, oh well, I think. But yeah, I think it was pretty extreme. But I'm not surprised. And maybe I guess. If you rescue this animal, man, well, I mean, come on, man, have a heart. What are you supposed to do? The squirrel's mother, I guess, was hit by a car, and you got this baby squirrel, and the squirrel's making a great pet.
Yeah, we know because we rescued a ground squirrel.
Yeah, we've had a ground squirrel, and
we couldn't return it back to its colony. It was injured, so we had to, basically nurse it back to health for a while.
Right,
and then it was ours.
Yeah, we kept it. It was cool pet. So if these people they have this relationship with this squirrel, and the squirrel obviously liked the human interaction.
Yeah.
Whatever. Does it warrant killing the animal? It's like if anything. Maybe hit them with a charge of saying you're going to have to reintroduce this animal into the wild.
Should have done that.
I don't.
Something like that.
Is that 7 years? Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I mean the state of New York, the Department of Environmental Conservation, they don't seem to be that logical to me. So they probably would have them just toss them out in the wild.
Yeah, right. Basically like taking a freshwater fish and putting it in salt water.
Yeah.
So release it back in, But that wasn't called for. Let me put it like that. It wasn't called for to euthanize animal. If you're gonna hit them, maybe with a fine. It's cruel. Really, man, that's animal cruelty. That was cruel what they did. And I hope they hit them with that too. That's animal cruelty, man. There's no reason for you guys to put this animal to sleep.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do that. If a state where you're not allowed to have pets, hit with a fine or something like that. Same thing with the raccoon. And I think the raccoon, they were. No, I don't know how was it? It seemed like the raccoon was the one that they were supposed to rehabilitate and put back.
Yeah, they were planning to release him back out into the wild.
Man. That's liberals for you, dude.
Yeah. Sledge-O-Matic says, I expect the New York DOEC is secretly an arm of PETA. I think you and I were joking about that too, because PETA loves to execute animals as well.
Yeah.
So.
They think they're enlightened, virtuous heroes.
Yeah.
You have to have that kind of mettle to have the mercy, the metal mercy to be able to put these animals to death.
Yeah.
That's what PETA does.
Yeah, Mark Levin did a huge expose on them like 10 years ago on how disgusting PETA is and how they are just a satanic organization.
Yeah.
They slaughter lots of animals.
Right. Yeah, they're. I think they have sex with those animals too.
Probably.
Have sex with them and then kill them. Yes. Let's see. How about Thomas Massie says Trump nominee should be disqualified, and here's why. You guys probably already familiar with this, or you guys already saw the article, and I'm pretty leery about this dude too. Let's read a little bit of the article, shall we? Come on, load up. All right, and this is coming from 100% Fed Up. Representative Thomas Massie said Florida Sheriff Chad Cronister, President Trump's nominee for administrator of the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, DEA, should be disqualified for his actions during COVID-19. I'm going to call him like I see him. Trump's nominee for head of DEA should be disqualified for ordering the arrest of a pastor who defied COVID lockdowns, Massie said. Okay, let's stop right there for a second. So the pastor in question, what's his name? Rodney
Howard Brown.
Rodney Howard Brown. It's a kook. Okay. One of those let's just say it's a church that I wouldn't go to.
And we put the church in quotes.
Yeah, church in quotes. Not the kind of services that I would be. Yeah. Anyway, but the bottom line is, church is being made to shut down during COVID, and this, was one of the guys that was, making sure that they would. Okay. Now, for those who would have reservations about, what's the guy's name? Was it Dr.? No. I forget what the name of the guy is who's supposed to be the nominee for this.
Chad Cronister.
That's right, Chad Cronister. I should have mixed it sounds like Cronus. Cronus is a bad guy too. Trump dropped the ball as far as that goes too. Okay, remember Warp Speed? Let's go ahead and get this thing made, and then they use those things to basically shut down, get people fired, put these mandates on them, people losing their jobs, kicked out of the military and all that sort of stuff, over this stuff that Trump warp speeded into the culture. And we had to pay for that, right? That stuff wasn't free. Come get your free shot, get your free vaccine. Stuff ain't free. We had to pay for that. All right, like I said, it was the Democrats more effectively got Trump to have us pay for this so-called vaccine, were more effective at doing that than Trump was at getting Mexico to pay for the wall. All right, now, so if we're gonna call out Cronister, which we should, and be like, yeah, dude, you're not the guy, then I think Trump should need to be called out for this too. It's like, man, you warp speed at this stuff. All right, you kind of have a bad track record of surrounding yourself with people who are really bad on the COVID issue. Okay, now this raises other concerns too. Now, or another discussion concerning, the lockdowns. So the churches, these, like, say for instance, what's his name, was it Ronald or whatever, so-called Dr. Ronald? He kept his churches open, most likely not for God, but for them collections. But he's still, as far as I'm concerned, he's still in the right to do so. So for 2 weeks, y'all, this so-called 14 days to flatten the curve or whichever, that kind of stretched out for like a little while. Over a flu, basically, you're going to tell people that they can't attend church, which is a violation of our First Amendment rights. The first right of First Amendment, we have free religious exercise. Okay, you can't tell us that we can't go to church. You can't deny people of their right to peaceably assemble. Okay, and the church, which literally means the assembly, right? The ecclesia, all right? We have the right to, we have the freedom to assemble. And you can't tell us that we can't. I don't know, forgive me if I missed it, for any of these people telling these factions that you have to stay home, or you can't assemble at church, in terms of like going to your jobs and all that sort of stuff, was martial law declared to give authority to tell people that they can't do that? Isn't that what it would take to really make it to where you can arrest people for attending church? Wouldn't that have to be prefaced with martial law? I'm asking. Wouldn't that, you would have to go police state in order to go in and arrest a pastor for holding an assembly, which they have a right to do. It's not proven. It's obviously not proven that these people were a liability to other people, because all of us who didn't get the poke, if you will, are still here. We were supposed to be the ones, to die from this stuff. And no, that's not proven to be true. And we've always known it. Okay, so we've known that this whole thing is a scam. And it has consequences, yeah. But we knew it was a scam. And all that to say, y'all, the martial law hadn't been declared, so you can't just go and arrest people for assembling. Yeah. Peacefully. Actually, an actual peaceable assembly. And that's Democrats for you, where you can have people who go ahead and get together in their protest, hollering and shouting around each other, spreading, being them super spreaders. Yes. But that's okay for them to go ahead and do that.
Yeah. And it was March that they were arresting the pastors because there was a national, what was it called? Kind of a curfew thing, stay home, 15 days to flatten the curve, yeah. And 2 months later, in May, you had all the liberals, doing their rioting around the country and their demonstrations.
Well, and still putting these mandates on people.
Yeah.
6 feet distancing, wear your mask,
Except for these liberals in their demonstrations.
So there was no problem with that. And once again, it's like, that's how we know that you guys are full of crap.
Yeah.
Full of crap. All right. One more. Man, and I sure do want one right about now. Owner of Twinkies issues. Twinkies sound pretty good. Owner of Twinkies issues message directed at Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I haven't had a Twinkie. It's been years since I've had a Twinkie. And I really liked the raspberry coconut zingers. Jam! Haven't had those in a long time either. I think the last time, no, we had one because when we were moving to here, we stopped off, we got some gas, and it was like, just a long drive of like coming here. Yeah. It's like, man, I just gotta have me. And I think we did. I don't totally remember.
It seems like it, yeah.
Seems like we did, but the one time I do remember is that because I really like raspberry, and I haven't had those in a long time. The raspberry zingers is when you made. She asked me like, what kind of cake? She's like, what kind of cake do you want for your birthday? And I was like, I want a cake just made of raspberry zingers, just stacked up on top of each other. That's what I want for my birthday cake. And that's what she did. She went out and bought a bunch of raspberry zingers and just made them into a cake. That was my birthday cake. Yeah.
The most unhealthy cake you've ever had.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Robert F. Kennedy would have just went straight. He would have pooped a purple Twinkie, man, if he saw this one. But the best, though, of those, I don't know, snack cakes or whichever. I don't know, though. It depends on my mood. Like, it's either sometimes my mood is like, oh man, the best is like the raspberry coconut zingers. But then there was y'all remember I don't see these anymore, the Crunch Crumb donuts.
Oh yeah.
Remember those? And I think there were the donut gems. And they were the dark brown, not the light brown ones that kind of like look more fluffy or puffy. These were like the dark brown. It looked like they were coated with like, I don't know, like brown sugar or something like that. And they were the Crunch Crumb donuts. Dude, those were so good. And it's probably a good thing that I don't see those anymore.
Yeah.
I never see them anymore. It's probably a good thing, man, because the weakness. I gotta have it. So good. But this right here, Twinkies, owner of Twinkies, and because Hostess, they went, when did they go?
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
And it was basically union workers. It cost y'all so much money. But and then they got bought up by, and then they brought Hostess back. I mean, not Hostess, but they brought back some of their popular treats like Twinkies. So let's look at a little bit of this. Once again, from 100% Fed Up. The owner of Twinkies issued a message for Robert F. Kennedy, President Trump's nominee, to lead Health and Human Services. One of RFK Jr.'s objectives, quit bouncing around on me, Paige, is to combat chronic disease in the United States and ultra-processed foods. I can dig it. The former presidential candidate has addressed Americans changing their dietary habits to overcome obesity, diabetes, and other conditions. According to the Daily Mail, RFK Jr. has targeted artificial food colorings, pesticides, right on, and weight loss drugs like Ozempic. Ozempic, y'all, that's like what they're finding in that stuff. A key ingredient is basically derived from lizards. And to curb your appetite, it basically paralyzes the peristaltic action. You know, it's like, or in your intestines, basically like puts them in a paralytic state. You know, that way, you know, nothing's moving, you feel full. That ain't smart. Yeah, I'm not trying to say people are being foolish, but it ain't. Yeah.
Well, it's a heck of a dangerous drug.
Yeah, it's find a better way. Okay. So we believe very strongly that snacking continues. Yeah, of course it will. Consumers are, but I'm trying to do my part, y'all. I'm trying to find, you know, because I love sweets, man. I sympathize. I love cake, right? And I've been trying to make, you know, make cake and pastries and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like, so, what's up with you, man? Baking? Yeah, I like sweets, and I want people to be able to enjoy sweets without their body saying, "What the hell are you putting in me, man? I don't know what this is." I'm gonna respond with diabetes. I'm gonna respond with some information and stuff like that if you don't stop putting this stuff in me. I don't know what this is, right? So, you know, and the owner of Twinkies goes on to say consumers are going to continue to look for a way to reward themselves at different times throughout the day. Reward themselves, man. People don't eat Twinkies to reward themselves. A lot of times people eat Twinkies, most of the time, from what I can see, that's a staple for them. That ain't no reward, that ain't no treat. That's part of their diet. All right, when they bust out with the lunchbox, man, it's gonna be some, you know. I've seen it, you know, when I'm on the job with people, you know, CJ sees it, you know, eating them ho-hos or Twinkies or Zingers and stuff like that, and then have the nerve to have like a Coke Zero,
Yeah.
a freaking liter.
Yep, see it every day.
Right, I'm gonna get the 64 ounce of aspartame, you know, or whichever, because I'm eating healthy, trying to offset my sugar by drinking this lab-created sweetener to go along with this overly processed food sensation that I have. That's not a treat for me. It's part of it's my lunch.
Yeah.
All right, so they're kind of not really being honest with themselves as far as that goes. So now, if it was a treat, it's like, hey, you eat this every once in a while, this overly processed food, you know, as long as it's being offset by like real food most of the time, but that's not really the case. Now, with Twinkies, you put what you got to put these kinds of food coloring in it for, and I get it, man, because it's shelf appeal. You know, when you go into the convenience store or stuff like that, and you want to satisfy that sweet tooth, you know, the vendors of these things, man, they want their product jumping off the shelves, man. And basically, you know, they want the eyeballs to pop. Look at them trees. Look how golden that sponge cake is. You can't miss it, right? They basically want it like borderline freaking fluorescent, you know. So you go right to that.
Yeah.
So of course they're gonna put those kind of foods in it. I think when people compare like cereals, like, you know, these brightly colored cereals. They'll compare them to like cereals that are like in Europe, and their cereal look almost like pale and pastel compared to ours, which is almost like neon, you know? And that's what these people want. When you walk down the cereal aisle, they want your eye to go right to the brightest thing that you can see, because brighter means sweeter. We want that. We want them cereals. We want them cakes lit up with sugar.
And they specifically, purposely put that stuff right at children's eye level.
Yes, right?
In the grocery stores.
They want them kids to be able to grab and say, "Mom, want some cereal?" Right? That was me back in the day.
Me too.
I want some cereal. I would make anything out of cereal. right? Them donuts that I was telling you about, I'll take them donut gems, man. Does anybody know what I'm talking about when I talk about them donut gems?
Let me see.
Anybody, yeah, do you still see those? Do you miss those? Did you ever like those? Something wrong with you if you didn't. Man, I would take those, man. I would open that thing up. There was always be like 6 of them, right? Drop them things in a bowl, and I pour me some some almond milk. Actually, it was, because I don't really like milk. Is too rich for me. I'm not lactose intolerant or anything like that. It's just milk is like, I don't know. It's rich. So I like plant-based milks. Okay, particularly almond milk. I love almond milk. Almond milk is rad. Just pour that in there, man, and eat donuts. Eat them donuts like cereal. I used to do the same thing with Nutter Butters, right? Oh man, before I think they came out with a Nutter Butter cereal too. Yeah, probably. I don't know if I've ever had it because I had the real thing. I would open up the bag, man, and I would crumble up some Nutter Butter. I wouldn't even bother crumbling. I just pop it in and just break them with my spoon, all the way down. Bam, Nutter Butter cereal, right? That's how I would do it. Don't be jealous. You didn't think of it. So, but all these things that are, that are put into this stuff, the sugar. The thing about, like, say for instance, like sugar. You talk about pure cane sugar. After it's been so refined, y'all, it's just something foreign to the body. It doesn't really give you any sort of benefit. It does nothing at all, really, aside from setting off your receptors that basically make you addicted to sugar. One thing that the brain really likes, it's salt and sugar. The brain really likes those. But it really likes it when it knows what it is.
Yeah.
And if you give it to it in its a really refined state, it's going to be like, okay, I'm getting a little taste of some cinnamon, but where's the rest of it? Don't stop until you give me all of it. That's what's basically happening. But if you eat something that's not overly processed, that's like really sweet, satiety sets in, pretty quick. A lot of times when you have these, kind of sugars that have like a lower glycemic index, that's not overly processed or so much of an extraction or something like that, or if it's like a whole food, kind of sugar, it'll curb your need for sweet like pretty quick. Especially if you're allowing fats, like real fats. Animal fats, and dairy fats, not these other kinds of seed oil, fats and stuff like that. If you allow them to do their job, then that stuff balances itself out. All that to say, if I guess they're going to be considering, more healthier ingredients.
Twinkies did say because of the use of the Ozempics and the GLP-1 inhibitors, whatever they're called, they are considering altering their ingredients in the makeup, like reducing the sugar and coming up with, maybe different ingredients to make it a little bit healthier.
Well, what do you mean reducing the sugar? Because this is what's going to happen. You can reduce the sugar, but they're probably going to buy twice as many Twinkies to get their fix. And in terms of, like, say for instance, like me, I don't like, if I'm going to eat something sweet, I don't want the sweetness mitigated. All right? I want all the sugar that I was hoping to get out of what I was going to eat. But the difference is that when I make sweets, I don't use refined ingredients. I like a more rustic taste anyway. I'm not going for the or at least I've come to appreciate it. Let me say that. Maybe I don't even think it's so much of an acquired taste or anything like that. I just appreciate it more. I like real tasting food. Okay, so when I make sweets, I don't use like refined sugars or sweeteners and stuff like that. Over processed flours, and or this hybridized wheat and stuff like that. The ingredients that I try to stick to are they're not overly processed. There's more whole food. Some would probably say paleo, if you will, but I don't think of myself as a paleovore or whichever. We try to avoid overly processed and refined ingredients.
Yep.
And these people can probably do the same. You gotta, and when I make them, y'all, they're just as sweet. It's just as sweet and just as satisfying, and doesn't have the the more inflammatory effects. And that's because when a lot of people think about like weight gain and stuff like that, when it comes to these foods, you got these people taking Ozempic and all that sort of stuff. And weight gain is a factor about it, but it's not just a weight gain that because whatever you eat, y'all, it's gonna contribute to that. What the real key, y'all, is looking for food that's not going to contribute to inflammation, and look at and contribute to dietary disease. Okay, Twinkies and all these other these overly processed foods and food with refined ingredients, y'all. That's going to be that's the stuff that's more so going to contribute to inflammation. Whatever you eat, y'all, is pretty much, if you overdo it or whichever, if you're not, if you're not somewhat mobile and whichever, and because the thing is, the food that we have access to, it's got something in it that your body's going to be like, what is that, and it's going to get stored as fat, all right? But of course, those things can be minimized, sure. But a lot of this stuff, what these foods are doing, it's more than the obesity, y'all. It's the inflammation, because it's just foreign. It's foreign to the body. It's like if you put foreign fluids in your machines, like your automobile. If you don't put the right kind of fuel in it, it's gonna gunk up, and it's gonna mess with the performance of it. It's the same thing with us. The body doesn't know what it is, and it wasn't designed to take in this kind of stuff. You're gonna get inflammation. We're gonna have problems. So. I hope Twinkies doesn't try to pull a McDonald's. It's like where it's gonna have like McDonald's like got all scared and stuff like that and trying to pander to people. We're gonna make a healthy menu.
Yeah.
I saw somebody, I should remember that meme I showed you. Somebody was like, stores have a health food section. What does that make the rest of the store? Right? It's kind of like I said when Carl's Jr. was coming out with their natural burger. Carl's Jr. introduces the all natural burger. I'm like, well, what were they before? But hopefully that's good. And also, y'all, please, you got to consider accessibility. It's not cheap to eat right.
It's not, yeah.
I hope that's something that Robert F. Kennedy takes into consideration. So because Robert, he's still a Democrat. Mm-hmm. And the policies that Democrats put in, they make it very difficult. They talk about, accessibility and everybody should have access to an opportunity and all that sort of stuff. But they put into policies that make it very difficult for people to do that.
Yeah, they do.
And to eat healthy and stuff like that, these people don't set their prices by greed, man. It's really, there's what the state's gonna impose, and then there's what it costs to render the product, to deliver the product, and all that sort of stuff. And you don't want it with a bunch of preservatives in it.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff. That stuff costs. If you want to eat organic and you want to eat very healthy, and you don't want all these, and you don't want the kind of foods that have these empty calories and all that sort of stuff, you better have the money.
Yeah.
So.
Callie Means in this article, that former food lobbyist, he's saying nobody is trying to take away Twinkies, but what is worth asking is whether it makes sense this garbage is SNAP eligible, meaning you can buy it with food stamps.
Okay. So, and sorry, on Instagram, thank you guys. I see Lori Brown has stopped in, right on. Kirk Wyatt and Joe Casey. And who was it? Brian says, I can't eat Hostess anymore because I'm allergic to palm oil. And and see these oils that they put in there, man. Because we hear people allergic to like canola oil and these kind of oils, man. It's because the body's, these kind of oils. Palm oil is not like a bad.
Depending on how they're making it.
If it's overly refined
Don't
or
bastardize, everything.
What were you saying?
It goes on to say, it tells us everything we need to know about subsidies, welfare, and giveaways by the government. Who benefits in the Twinkies SNAP eligibility situation?
Dude, am I imagining things? Help me out, folks. Am I imagining? I remember when there was like a limit. There was a limit, or some. some boundaries on what you could buy with social assistance. You know, when they send you them food stamps, certain foods you were not allowed to get. Now it's like a free-for-all. I think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm like exaggerating a little bit. It seems like you can even get liquor with
Probably nowadays, yeah.
But food stamps, man, there was like, according to the food pyramid of that day, which, this is the nutrition that you were allowed to get with your food stamps. And y'all, you can see where it's like, they issue this government assistance for you to be able to go get the very kind of food that makes you dependent on healthcare as you get these, as you jack up your body. You're gonna need, go in there to see them for these diseases, diabetes and stuff like that. And then gonna pander to these people saying, that's why you need universal health care. We have to have this socialized health care for the people that the government helped to get sick in the first place. Having them go and eating this inflammatory food. Yeah, I see you. All right, y'all. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in for another dose from the Loft. You guys are the grooves for sticking with us. And bronzeserpentmedia.com. If you're watching on YouTube, it doesn't hit that subscribe button to help you do it. But really would dig it if you come on over to bronzeserpentmedia.com, become a member. It's free, and hopefully you'll populate the powwows. Come in and leave some interesting stuff. Like I said, just keep it clean and PG-13, and and honest and interesting. And drop that buck in the bucket to keep your bros on the go. Come on, y'all. Hey, it's like I was saying with with these people making these movies and stuff like that. We want to be able to bring you that kind of entertainment, y'all. And if we're going to be the party of standards and values, well, we want to make sure that we uphold with some of that stuff. Oh, I wanted to say also on a side note with the Trump guitars. One of the reasons, like, as you guys know, that, I mean, here it is. Trump is like, somebody just comes, hey, we want to make some guitars for you. And he just makes some guitars. Wow. Okay. And make them with parts that are made in different parts of the world, probably most likely China. And it's like I was saying, isn't the whole thing supposed to be like, bringing jobs back to America and make America great again, but you're doing these guitars. And I'm like, that's one of the things that's been holding me up for getting my sci-fi sword made. Because anytime I try to talk to a developer, a research developer, or anything like that, they insist that you have to make it in China. And I'm like, no, we don't. No, I can't talk to any developer. It's like, that's like the first thing. And I'm having to argue with them saying, we don't have to make this in China. Yes, you do, right? You have to make it in China. So that's one of the things that's been, I'm actually more committed to American jobs than Trump is. Making things in America, man. So, and it's a hard thing to do. Well, because with the developer, they're thinking things from a manufacturing standpoint. That's how they see things. They're not just looking at your finished product. They're looking at ways to be able to do things that are already kind of assembled in a certain way, and that's what they want to be able to go with and all that sort of stuff. And that kind of and just focusing on that takes years, man. Yeah. But for real. Any developer I try to talk to, China, you have to do it in China. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. And that's one of the reasons why it's taking me so long. I'm more committed. Like I said, I'm more committed to have this thing made in America than Trump is with these guitars. So hopefully.
It's been like 9 years.
Oh yeah, I've been at it for a long time, man. It's trying to get these things made. And thank you guys for your prayers and for those who have tried to support me getting these things made and trying to give me ideas. And stuff like that. I really do appreciate it. Forgive my frustration about it, because I'll be like, man, why is it so hard to get this done? Why can't anybody figure this out? Because, like I said, I made a prototype. I was able to do it. It's just not, of course, it's not market ready, but it works. I've proved, the proof of concept is there. It works. It's just having the components made in a very precise way to where they fit a certain way and all that sort of stuff. And, it's one of the things I haven't had much luck in getting, being able to get done. Because a lot of times, people they adhere to like models. There's a mode to how you have to do this, a formula that you have to do it, and the limitations of the machines that do it. Rather than I'm talking about getting there. I'm talking about getting there and some handmade stuff, man. Not the machines. Don't depend on the machine to do it. We could do this by hand, right? But that takes money.
Yeah.
And like, well, if you want me to make it by hand, man, you need to come in here and hand me some money. So it's gonna take a little bit more than that, right? Because I tell you, you walk in there with a certain amount of cash, you'll be like, yeah, we'll try it. Yeah, definitely. It won't give you this formula is like this, and our machines only do this. You go in there, money, and they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. And that's one thing I haven't been able to do yet. So at any rate, y'all, broadsurfmedia.com. And hopefully at some point, maybe we'll get a windfall to be able to do those things. But thank you guys in the meantime for your support to keep us going, helping us keep these lights on. And hey, we're still trying to make that connection with the culture, man. Don't get complacent just because you got your political victory, all right? Because it ain't gonna be long before you know it. You're gonna have them elections for the House and Senate. And if you want to maintain that representation,
2 years,
you got to have that cultural representation. And we're trying to do our part to represent. And do the thing and help give the ideas that don't make it so difficult for us in the culture, where we don't give the liberals the fodder that they need to do the damage that they do. They're fools, y'all. They're fools, and fools don't get ahead without help. And they got a lot of help from Republican voters, who they just gave the Democrats a lot of what they needed. And now we're trying to have to crawl up from underneath this, okay? So hopefully we can count on y'all. Thank you guys so much, and we will talk again soon, y'all. Bye.